Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with key negotiators Thursday amid a fast-paced four-day diplomatic mission across the Middle East. His goal is to revive talks aimed at ending the ongoing war in Gaza. On Thursday, Blinken announced an additional $135 million in U.S. aid for Palestinian civilians.
Today we're announcing an additional $135 million in humanitarian assistance, water, sanitation, maternal health, for Palestinians in Gaza, in the West Bank, as well as in the region.
He reiterated President Joe Biden's position that last week's killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar by Israeli forces could be a reasonable stopping point for the conflict. This war began on October 7, 2023, when Hamas militants crossed into Israel, killing 1,200 people and taking more than 250 hostages. Speaking from Doha, Qatar, Blinken stated that Israel has achieved its strategic goals. He said Israel has dismantled Hamas's military structure, aiming to prevent future attacks like those on October 7. Blinken emphasized that this success includes bringing those responsible for the October 7 violence, including Sinwar, to justice.
We're intensely focused on bringing the hostages home, ending the war, alleviating the suffering of Palestinian children, women and men in Gaza. And we've been working closely together to try to do that for many months. Now, we have seen the quickest way to get there as being through a ceasefire and hostage deal. Again, what we've been working on. The reason I believe there's opportunity now is because the biggest obstacle to concluding that agreement was Sinwar. And the fact that he is no longer with us perhaps creates an opening for actually moving forward and concluding an agreement. In our judgment, one of the things that Sinwar was looking at and hoping for was the potential for wider conflict. If he could create a multi-front war with Hezbollah attacking Israel, potentially with Iran attacking Israel, then he could just sit back and wait and not make any decisions on a ceasefire and on getting hostages home. Well, he has now been removed from the equation, and of course, we're working intensely to make sure that this conflict doesn't spread.
He argued that now is the time to work toward ending the war, freeing the hostages, and creating a better future for Gaza's people. Qatar's leader, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, who is both the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, joined Blinken at the press conference. Al Thani confirmed that Qatar had re-engaged in talks with Hamas, but described an uncertain outlook. He said that while negotiations with representatives from Hamas's political office in Doha are ongoing, there is no clear path forward at this point.
Regarding our communication with Hamas and the leadership after Sinwar, yes, we re-engaged with them. We've been in engagement with the representative from the political office in Doha. We had some meetings with them the last couple of days. I believe that until now there is no clarity what will be the way forward or the clear position. But the position that we had with us, at least throughout the meeting or what we have sensed, it was the same position as the last paper stated. And basically, I think this would be their starting point until they come up with further.
The U.S. designates both Hezbollah and Hamas as terrorist organizations. Gerald Firestein, director of the Arabian Peninsula Affairs Program at the Middle East Institute, questioned the purpose of Blinken's trip. Firestein told VOA that it is unclear what Blinken hopes to accomplish, given his previous trips yielded little progress. A prominent U.S. Muslim rights group cited two major obstacles to a ceasefire agreement: Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Biden. Edward Ahmed Mitchell, deputy director at the Council on American Islamic Relations, argued that Netanyahu lacks motivation to pursue a ceasefire, citing political and ideological reasons. Mitchell suggested that only by halting U.S. military support to Israel could Netanyahu be pressured into agreeing to a permanent ceasefire. In Gaza on Thursday, at least 17 Palestinians, including children, were killed in an Israeli strike on a school sheltering displaced families. On the same day in Jerusalem, hundreds of protesters marched, calling for the release of Israeli hostages taken on October 7, 2023.